Chapter 31, The Whispering Woods. As dawn began to break, Tobian and Nivara left the serene embrace of the moonlit grove. The vision of the hidden temple lingered in their minds, a beacon guiding their next steps. The path ahead led them toward the Whispering Woods, a vast forest that stretched across the horizon, filled with ancient trees and secrets as old as the world itself. Nivara could feel the change in the air as they approached the forest. The magic here was different, alive, pulsing with the rhythms of nature, but also led with an undercurrent of something mysterious. It called to her, urging her to adapt once more. With a deep breath, Nivara closed her eyes and allowed the magic of the forest to flow through her. Her appearance began to shift once again. Her silver hair darkened to a rich, earthy brown, streaked with shades of green like the moss-covered trunks of ancient trees. Her eyes, once glowing with moonlight, now took on the deep, vibrant green of the forest canopy. Her gown transformed into a garment of woven leaves and vines, adorned with flowers that seemed to bloom as she moved. She had become one with the forest, a guardian of its secrets, and a guide through its winding paths. Tobian watched the transformation with admiration, as always struck by the harmony between Nivara and the world around her. "You're a part of the forest now," he said softly. "Its spirit flows through you." Nivara smiled, her voice now carrying the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. "The forest is ancient and wise, Tobian. It has seen countless seasons and holds many stories. But it also whispers warnings. We must tread carefully." As they entered the Whispering Woods, the atmosphere shifted. The trees here were tall and majestic, their branches intertwining to form a dense canopy that filtered the sunlight into soft, dappled patterns on the forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the only sounds were the soft rustling of leaves and the distant calls of unseen creatures. But there was something else in the air, too, a presence, faint but undeniable. The forest was alive with whispers, voices carried on the wind that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. The trees themselves seemed to speak, their leaves rustling with a language that was both familiar and foreign. "The forest is speaking to us," Nivara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's trying to guide us, but also to test us. We must listen carefully." Tobian nodded, his senses heightened by the forest's magic. "We'll follow the whispers, but we need to be vigilant. The forest may show us the way, but it could also lead us astray if we're not careful." The path through the woods was winding and treacherous, with roots and vines that seemed to shift and change when they weren't looking. The whispers grew louder as they ventured deeper, forming words that hinted at both guidance and warning. "Beware the silent shadows," one voice whispered, carried on a breeze that made the leaves shiver. "Seek the heart of the forest, where the old magic lies," another murmured, as if the trees themselves were sharing their secrets. Despite the eerie atmosphere, Tobian and Nivara pressed on, trusting in the guidance of the forest while keeping their wits about them. The path grew narrower, the trees closer together, until they found themselves in a small clearing, bathed in a strange, otherworldly light. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient stone altar, covered in moss and ivy. The air around it was thick with magic, and the whispers seemed to converge here, forming a single, clear voice. "Place your hands upon the altar, children of the forest, and the path shall be revealed." Nivara and Tobian exchanged a glance, understanding that this was another test, a trial of trust and courage. They approached the altar together, placing their hands on its cool, smooth surface. As they did, the forest around them seemed to hold its breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the altar began to glow, its light spreading outwards to the trees and beyond. The whispers fell silent, replaced by a deep, resonant hum that seemed to come from the very heart of the forest. The ground beneath the altar shifted, and a hidden staircase was revealed, descending into the earth. The light from the altar illuminated the steps, leading down into the unknown. "The forest has shown us the way," Nivara said, her voice filled with both awe and determination. "But what lies below, I cannot say. We must be ready for anything." Tobian nodded, his hand tightening around the staff that had guided him through so many trials. "Let's see where this path leads, together." With one last glance at the ancient forest above, they descended the staircase, leaving the whispers of the woods behind. Below, in the depths of the earth, a new adventure awaited, a journey into the unknown, where the old magic lay dormant, waiting to be awakened. And as they ventured into the darkness, Nivara's form shifted once more, her connection to the forest evolving into something deeper, something that would carry them through the trials to come. The heart of the forest had revealed the path, but the journey was only beginning. Chapter 32, The Enchanted Depths. As Tobian and Nivara descended into the earth, the light from the altar above gradually faded, leaving them in a deep, mystical darkness. The air was cool and thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone. The walls of the tunnel were lined with luminescent moss that cast a faint, eerie glow, just enough to guide their steps. Nivara could feel the magic of the underground passage wrapping around her like a cloak, and she knew it was time for another transformation. The magic here was different, ancient and deep, connected to the very heart of the earth. It thrummed with a quiet power, waiting to be harnessed. She closed her eyes and let the energy of the underground world flow through her. Her form began to change once more. Her hair darkened to a deep, earthen brown, streaked with veins of gold and silver, like precious metals embedded in rock. Her eyes took on the glow of molten lava, radiating warmth and light in the darkness. Her skin became the color of rich soil, with patterns that resembled the intricate layers of sediment found deep within the earth. Her attire transformed into a gown of woven roots and vines, adorned with gemstones that seemed to pulse with an inner light. Nivara had become the embodiment of the earth's depths, a guardian of the hidden treasures and secrets that lay beneath the surface. Tobian watched her transformation with a mixture of awe and admiration. "You've become one with the earth," he said softly, his voice echoing in the narrow passage. "The magic here is strong, and you're attuned to it perfectly." Nivara smiled, her voice now resonant and grounding, like the deep rumble of a distant earthquake. "The earth is ancient, Tobian. It holds the memories of countless ages and the secrets of civilizations long forgotten. We must tread carefully, for the power here is as dangerous as it is vast." As they continued their descent, the tunnel opened up into a vast cavern, its walls glistening with crystals that reflected the light from Nivara's eyes. The ceiling was high, lost in the shadows, and the air was thick with the weight of time. In the center of the cavern was a massive stone door, intricately carved with symbols and runes that glowed faintly in the dim light. The door was clearly ancient, and the magic that sealed it was strong, strong enough to have withstood the passage of countless millennia. "This door is our next challenge," Tobian said, studying the carvings. "It's sealed by powerful magic, and the key to opening it lies in understanding these runes." Nivara approached the door, her connection to the earth guiding her. The runes on the door began to glow brighter as she neared, responding to the magic that now flowed through her. She could feel the power within them, a complex web of spells that guarded whatever lay beyond the door. "The runes speak of a trial," Nivara said, her fingers tracing the ancient symbols. "A test of strength and wisdom, designed to protect the treasures hidden within. But there's something else, an echo of the past, a memory locked away with the magic. Tobian nodded, his mind already working to decipher the runes. We'll need to unlock the memory and pass the trial if we're to proceed. But we must be careful, this magic is old, and it may react unpredictably. Together, they began to work on the door, combining Tobian's knowledge of ancient spells with Nivara's deep connection to the earth's magic. The runes pulsed with energy, their light growing brighter as the spellwork unfolded. The cavern around them seemed to come alive, the crystals on the walls vibrating with the power being released. As they unlocked the final rune, the stone door shuddered, and a deep rumble echoed through the cavern. Slowly, the door began to open, revealing a chamber beyond, filled with a soft, golden light. The chamber was vast, its walls lined with shelves filled with ancient scrolls and artifacts, each one glowing with a faint, magical aura. At the center of the room was a pedestal, upon which rested a large, intricately carved crystal, its surface shifting with patterns of light and shadow. "This is what the runes were guarding," Nivara said, her voice filled with wonder. "An ancient crystal, a repository of knowledge and power. It's connected to the earth's magic, to the very foundations of the world." Tobian approached the crystal, his eyes wide with awe. "This crystal holds the memories of the earth itself," he said, reaching out to touch it. "It's a link to the past, to the ancient civilizations that once thrived here. If we can unlock its secrets, we may learn more about the hidden temple and the trials that await us." As Tobian's hand made contact with the crystal, a wave of energy surged through the chamber, and the walls began to shimmer with images, visions of a time long past, when the earth was young and the magic of the world was still fresh and untamed. The crystal's light grew brighter, and the visions became clearer, revealing scenes of ancient rituals, grand temples, and powerful wizards who wielded the magic of the earth itself. But there were also darker images, visions of conflict, of battles fought over the control of this magic, and of the eventual fall of these ancient civilizations. "The crystal is showing us the past," Nivara said, her voice tinged with sadness. "It's a reminder of the power we seek, but also of the responsibility that comes with it. The earth's magic is not to be taken lightly, it's a force that can create or destroy, depending on how it's used." Tobian nodded, his expression serious. "We must be careful as we proceed. The knowledge we gain here will be invaluable, but we must use it wisely. The trials ahead will test not only our strength and wisdom but also our resolve and our understanding of the true nature of magic." With the crystal's visions still fresh in their minds, they knew their journey was far from over. The hidden temple awaited, and with it, the next chapter in their adventure, a chapter that would challenge everything they had learned and force them to confront the very essence of the magic they sought to master. As they left the chamber, the crystal's light faded, leaving behind a quiet stillness that echoed with the memories of the ancient world. Nivara's form, now attuned to the earth's magic, glowed softly in the darkness, guiding them as they made their way back to the surface. The path ahead was still shrouded in mystery, but they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. Together, they would uncover the secrets of the hidden temple, and with each step, they would grow stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to the magic that bound them together. Chapter 33, The Shifting Sands. After emerging from the depths of the earth, Tobian and Nivara found themselves standing at the edge of a vast desert. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the undulating dunes that stretched out as far as the eye could see. The air was dry and warm, and the sand shimmered like gold under the fading light. The magic of the desert was palpable, ancient and ever-changing, like the sands themselves. Nivara could feel its call, a whisper in the wind that beckoned her to embrace this new land's energy. She closed her eyes, allowing the magic of the desert to flow through her, feeling the warmth and vitality of the sun, the shifting nature of the sands, and the whispers of the wind that carried secrets across the dunes. Her transformation began subtly, her form shifting as she attuned herself to the spirit of the desert. Her hair lightened to a sandy blonde, flowing like the ripples in the dunes, with streaks of gold that caught the light of the setting sun. Her eyes became a deep amber, glowing with the heat of the desert, and her skin took on a warm, golden hue, as if kissed by the sun. Her gown transformed into a flowing robe of light, airy fabric that shimmered with every movement, blending with the colors of the desert landscape. Nivara had become the embodiment of the desert, a guide and guardian of its ever-shifting sands. Tobian, standing beside her, marveled at her transformation. "You've become one with the desert," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "Its magic flows through you like the wind across the dunes." Nivara smiled, her voice now carrying the soft rustle of sand in the wind. "The desert is a place of change and mystery, Tobian. It holds secrets buried deep beneath the sands, waiting to be uncovered. But it also tests those who seek its treasures, for the desert is as unforgiving as it is beautiful." As they ventured into the desert, the sun dipped below the horizon, and the temperature began to drop. The sands, once hot and bright, now took on a cool, silvery glow under the light of the rising moon. The landscape around them shifted constantly, the dunes changing shape with each gust of wind, as if the desert itself were alive and watching them. The journey was difficult, with the shifting sands making every step a challenge. But Nivara's connection to the desert guided them, her attunement to the land allowing her to sense the hidden paths that lay beneath the surface. They moved with the flow of the dunes, letting the desert guide their steps. As they traveled deeper into the desert, they began to notice strange markings in the sand, ancient symbols and patterns that seemed to move and shift as they approached. The symbols glowed faintly in the moonlight, their meaning hidden in the language of the desert. "These markings are a clue," Tobian said, studying them closely. "They are part of an ancient puzzle, one that we must solve if we're to uncover the secrets of the desert." Nivara knelt beside one of the symbols, her fingers tracing its outline in the sand. As she did, the symbol glowed brighter, and she could feel the magic within it. "The desert speaks in riddles," she said, her voice thoughtful. "We must understand its language, decipher its secrets, and follow the path it reveals." Together, they worked to unravel the puzzle, combining Tobian's knowledge of ancient languages with Nivara's connection to the desert's magic. The symbols in the sand began to form a pattern, guiding them toward a hidden oasis deep within the heart of the desert. The oasis was a place of stunning beauty, with crystal-clear waters surrounded by lush vegetation that seemed out of place in the barren desert. The air was cool and fragrant with the scent of blooming flowers, and the light of the moon reflected off the water, creating a serene, almost otherworldly atmosphere. In the center of the oasis was a large, ancient stone, carved with intricate patterns that glowed with a soft, magical light. The stone was clearly a focal point of power, a nexus of the desert's magic that held the key to their next challenge. "This stone is the heart of the desert's magic," Nivara said, her voice filled with reverence. "It's connected to the flow of the sands, the cycles of the moon, and the life that flourishes here against all odds. We must unlock its secrets if we're to continue our journey." Tobian nodded, his mind already racing to understand the patterns carved into the stone. "This is another trial," he said. "A test of our ability to read the signs of the desert, to understand its magic, and to use it wisely." As they approached the stone, the air around them seemed to shimmer with energy. The patterns on the stone began to shift and change, forming new symbols and shapes that hinted at the secrets buried deep beneath the sands. Nivara placed her hands on the stone, feeling the pulse of the desert's magic flow through her. The symbols responded to her touch, glowing brighter as they revealed the next step in their journey. "The desert has shown us the way," Nivara said, her voice steady. "But the path ahead is filled with challenges. We must be ready to face whatever lies beyond, for the desert guards its secrets well." With the oasis as their guide, Tobian and Nivara prepared to continue their journey into the heart of the desert, where new adventures awaited. The trials they had faced so far had only strengthened their bond, and they knew that together, they could overcome any challenge. As they left the oasis, the stone's light faded, and the desert returned to its quiet, shifting state. But Nivara's form, now attuned to the magic of the sands, continued to glow softly in the moonlight, a beacon of hope and strength in the vast, ever-changing landscape. Their journey through the desert was just beginning, and with each step, they drew closer to uncovering the hidden temple's secrets and the ancient magic that lay within.